Sande Charles with FanRag Sports, joined by our very own baseball writer, Tommy Stokke. We're going to be breaking down those Chicago teams. So let's talk a little. Let's start White Sox first. They sent Adam Eaton to the Nationals. What did they get in return?
Really three pitching prospects that are very good, specifically Lucas Giolito, who a lot of people look at as one of the top, if not the top, pitchers prospect-wise, and Ronaldo Lopez. Both of them made their debuts last year, showed a lot of potential. Some people were down on Giolito, but to trade Adam Eaton and get this return, a lot of people were blown away, and a lot of people said it was a panic move by the Nationals. But Adam Eaton is good. They certainly sold high on him. It depends kind of what metrics you look at. You can look at WAR, and he averaged a 5 WAR the last 3 years. But can he play center field, and can he play it as well as he did before? Don't know about that. But the White Sox, to turn him into what they did just an incredible job, and everybody's kind of blown away by it.
So speaking of the White Sox, yesterday they had a blockbuster trade sending Chris Sale to Boston Red Sox. They're clearly in rebuild mode. How much more do they have to go?
They have a lot, but they've already made a ton of progress. Rick Hahn said that if he could be up here every single day announcing some kind of big trade, that would be what he prefers, but they're not going to force anything. Obviously, the big name left is Jose Quintana, but they don't necessarily have to trade him right now. They can, as he said today, we can trade people later this offseason. We can trade them at the trade deadline. We could trade next offseason. So he has made it clear that this is going to take a while. But really, when you look at where they've started, they have Yoan Moncada they got for Chris Sale, Michael Kopech who they got for Chris Sale, and then the guys they got today for Adam Eaton. And you're way ahead of the curve already. I mean, people are putting their prospects in the top 5, and that's something that hasn't happened for the White Sox in quite some time. So they're ahead of the curve, I would say, already to come away with trading Eaton and Sale and having this as a start. They still have guys, Todd Frazier can bring something back. David Robertson can bring something back. Quintana's the big chip. He can bring a lot back. You'll have a lot of interest in him now, but the White Sox, again, don't have to trade him. Hahn said that, we want to be competitive in 5 years, and Quintana has 4 years left, so they can tell teams, hey, we don't have to trade him. He can be on our next winning team, even if they don't necessarily mean it. But they're certainly off to a really good start.
Who do you think, just going off all of your knowledge and everything that you're hearing, who would you say is the next guy to be leaving the White Sox?
I think it could be Quintana, depending on how aggressive teams are. The reason that the Adam Eaton deal got done so quick was because the Nationals had a clear need. Maybe they got a little desperate after losing out on just about everybody they were involved in. So you need two to make it happen. So depending on how aggressive the Houston Astros are, will they make a big move to get Quintana after missing out on Chris Sale? Not that they tried extremely hard. So it kind of depends on that. The Dodgers, if they want to make a combination deal for Todd Frazier and Robertson, if they lose Jansen, if they lose Justin Turner, that could happen. So it really just depends how aggressive the other team is, because they still have plenty of guys to go.
Now let's take it to the other part of town and talk a little Chicago Cubs. They sent Jorge Soler to the Royals, and they got Wade Davis back. Did they need to get Wade Davis?
I don't know that it was necessarily a need. They would have been fine without him. Hector Rondon has been a very good closer when healthy. Pedro Strop, capable. Carl Edwards Jr., capable. But they saw the importance of Chapman at the end of this year when they got him. So I think at some point you were going to see it happen, whether it was now, whether it was the middle of the season. So to get rid of Soler, a lot of it is, do they necessarily know what he is? Because he didn't play a ton or get consistent at-bats all the time for a multitude of reasons. Maybe they know enough about him that they're obviously okay with trading him for 1 year of Wade Davis. So they traded from a surplus, which makes perfect sense to do it now and no need to wait. And, if Wade Davis is healthy, which the Cubs believe that he is, they got one of the best closers that they can get again. And so that was shown in the playoffs of how important it was. So maybe not a need, but a nice luxury to have, certainly.
Are the Cubs done? Like, they weren't going to do anything, and now they've been really active. So do you think they're done?
Yeah, they said they were going to be quiet and that the White Sox were going to be the big team making headlines in town. I never really believed it, and they can go get a young starter. And the thing with the Cubs and their front office now is they're very proactive. They can look ahead to next year and say, our starting pitching is going to get depleted if Arrieta leaves, if John Lackey leaves, he'll be a free agent. So what do we do there? So if a young starter, the Tampa Bay Rays have a couple that come to mind. If those opportunities present themselves, I don't think they're going to wait. I think they'll get ahead of the need and do something now. Otherwise, they're probably pretty much done.
They're done. Well, we'll see. We have one more day of winter meetings tomorrow, the Rule 5 draft. Thank you so much, Tommy. Tommy Stokke, Sande Charles. Keep it at FanRag Sports.